Heyo, there we go.
Yeah.
Try it again, try it again. All right, there, now it's working. Excellent, excellent. Well, a little bit of improvements every day. Uh, yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the morning meeting. Good
Good
to see you, Bailey.
morning.
Yeah, how you
Great to see
doing?
you as well.
Hey, TikTok's back, so we're all good. It's
I
all
never
good.
doubted it.
Yeah.
I never
We
doubted.
we had a full what was it like? What was it like 7 hours or something like that? Eight hours of a
Yep.
TikTok ban. All right, well, walk me through the emotions of your age group. What did you see on social media when TikTok was while it was banned, and then and then immediately post ban?
Well, immediately I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll have a productive Sunday. Like I won't I won't have TikTok to make it a non-productive day. So then like halfway through the day, I was like, dang, I really want to go on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I'll branch out into Instagram Reels. No, I'll never go back to Reels. I will never go back over there. And like that's like the running joke now. Like it was horrible over there. Like never make me go back. At least people like my age. Like we tried to make do with what we had, but wasn't really wasn't really much. But there is a theory that it's completely different. That it's now owned by Meta. That if you block Meta, um, it like completely changes your for you page, and people are saying that you can't search certain stuff, even though I was able to search all the things that they said you couldn't search. It literally gave you a notification when you log back on, or when it gave you access back, that some features are they're working to bring back. It's not all fully there, so like live streaming wasn't there at first, certain things. So I don't know. I think it's
Well,
it's there. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think when we talked about this last week, or and the last, really, that's been the topic of all three episodes so far have been about the TikTok ban. But I think when we talked about it before, we said, maybe it'll come back, maybe it will come back, or it will go away for a little bit. I mean, we should probably clip that part and just take a little victory lap, because I think we got pretty close to exactly what would happen.
yeah,
I know I said that I thought Donald Trump would take it as a W, or he would use that as an opportunity to get a W, or on his first couple of days to bring back TikTok, just that way everyone can, the narrative can be that he saved the day. And I so that was, I thought, to be expected. I don't know, I was not very surprised by that result. And I would say, just uh, because I've got a 17-year-old, um, she was writing me all day. I got probably like 15 messages during that 7 hours or whatever, saying, when is TikTok coming back? When is TikTok coming back? Something like that. She was
she
definitely
thought you had the
devastated.
insider info.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And but of course, I kept saying, like, I have no idea. I don't know anything. And then for a moment I did think maybe it'll just go away. And I saw, like, to me, because I have a lot of business owners in my Instagram, I use Instagram Reels and TikTok. I have, like, sort of different feeds in both
Yeah.
places. And so to me, I mean, I just kind of, I don't know, my, like, day of social media scrolling was not all that different. I just didn't scroll TikTok as much. I didn't have TikTok to scroll. I scrolled, like, sort of endlessly on Instagram. And I noticed while I was scrolling that there was a lot of people posting, like, alternatives. I think the most surprising thing in my community, I was going to say the business community, was I saw a ton of people that were like, um, alternatives to CapCut. That was, I think, everyone was a little bit
Mm,
surprised. Like, I didn't realize that CapCut was going to go
mm-hmm.
with it. I didn't realize
Yeah.
that those things were going to go with it. And then, so, like, Shane posted an interesting video about, like, tips for, like a new, like, what he's going to use instead of CapCut. And I think there was a lot of kind of people, I just saw a lot of people pivoting really fast. And I thought that was
Yeah.
really, really smart. And I wrote my newsletter about, I think, another thing that I really, like, really stuck out to me was the idea of, about, like, not to build your audience, completely on borrowed land. Like, there's a ton of value in, like, having your own audience, your own data, your own, like,
Mm-hmm.
way to reach your audience, meaning, like, collecting emails. I think so many businesses, like, when these businesses were kind of talking, in my opinion, sort of whining a little bit about, like, TikTok going away, and being like, I built my whole business here. It's like,
There's
man,
other ways.
Yeah, and you can't do that. Like, if you want to
Yeah.
be a successful business, you have to know I
Well,
need multiple ways to get that top funnel awareness. And a lot of a lot of these businesses were built solely on the back of TikTok, and that's like I hear you, brother.
this is a
But
conversation I have a lot because I think TikTok and the new age of like e-commerce has completely ruined the idea of what it means to own your own business and to like sell your own products, like drop shippers or people who are just screen printing stuff on a shirt that they buy from Michaels. Like anyone can do that. To me, like that is not. I get frustrated because there's these people who like these lip gloss businesses, or the ones that really get me on TikTok are the ones that you like buy a spot and then this person records themselves like rolling the dice for you, and then whatever number comes up on the dice is how many drawers you get to open, but they're the ones doing it for you, and then you get all of these like $2 like things that you can get from Five Below, but you paid $50 for it just for this person to make a video on TikTok about it. And those are the people being like, my business is gone, like, because it really was never like a full scope of business. You were just kind of scamming people on TikTok, to be honest. That's really what they were doing. But
you
that's
know,
my personal take on it.
no, and I definitely understand that inclination, and like, because we are obviously we're like a service business, and so like it feels like a lot of times in a service business, it feels like we're selling us. And so obviously we feel like we're very high quality. And so like we're selling like real things. And then you see, to me, like a business like that always like, I don't know, I felt was sort of like exploiting a loop. Like people were getting a little
No,
bit
I think
scammed.
exploitation, like that's the great word to use to
But I
describe
think
it.
what they're really good at though, or what they've done, what I guess kind of decided in my old age is that like these are actually what they're good at is marketing. And because
That's true.
they're like exploiting a loophole that or I guess like I almost feel like here's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to like put my thoughts in a way that doesn't offend people that I know in business. I think it's what I'm trying to say. It's like I do sometimes feel like some businesses that I know, like a great example of this is like somewhere like what is it uh gosh, Home Goods, I think, is where, or like Kohl's, I think, where they get kind of like products that are hand-me-down products. So they're like they were in the store and then they didn't really sell, and then they buy all of those
Mm-hmm.
products at a really discounted rate, and then upsell them. And like for that business, for example, I used to sort of kind of like turn my nose up at that one because I thought like really that like they're getting like a bunch of trash clothes. And then now I guess in my old age I almost like respect that more. I'm like that's really just kind of like a really good business. And like a really, they're like smart at like marketing. They found like a little way to like exploit this loophole. I've learned to sort of respect the gangster in that in the business world of like finding this way to just upsell like our competition. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to toot our own horn, but like compared to our competition, I don't know, maybe this isn't even tooting our own horn, but compared to our competition, they're like overpriced selling dumb shit. And I almost like, in a lot of ways, like I hate respect them for that kind of stuff. They sell like I just had a friend. I mean, I won't use any names because I don't want anybody to get in any trouble or whatever. But where they were building 3 websites for the same company. I'm sure I've shared some of this with you, where they're building 3 websites for the same company, and they just keep telling this business owner that his everything he's doing is trash, and everything that they're selling is the answer to all their prayers. And they've already worked together for like 8 months, and sales have gone down, revenues down. You know what I mean? And it's like, so like they're, you almost got to respect the gangster of a company
Yeah.
like that, because it's like, man, I don't have the courage to do that. I really don't. I could not do that. I can't like exploit that kind of loophole. That's a better business, honestly. Like
I
you
guess
know,
I guess less of the judgment should be on the people selling the product or the service and more on the people who are are falling victims to, you know, in a lot of situations, people are just spending their money and because they think they're getting a certain product and they're not, or they just simply got convinced that this is such a great thing that you need to spend your money on, and
Like
5 years later they're gonna look back and be like, "Ooh, maybe not."
well, totally. Like I think you know, another one that is a little bit more on the nose maybe is like pre-workout. So I went through this like kind of phase where I was like, at first I was like, you know, at first I really liked pre-workout, of course, and then you know you try them and you get kind of sucked into these brands. And my favorite one is God of Rage, which I'm sure you've heard me talk about many times. And they have really good marketing. You know, their audience is men my age and younger, probably. You know, middle-aged men and probably younger men too. And they, well, probably middle-aged men because we're more likely to have disposable income, is my guess. But the point is, they put on the label, they put this like Nordic god, like getting shocked by lightning. It just looks like, you know, just looks awesome, and it's just great marketing. And you know that appeals to me and most of my peers. And then for a little bit, I thought these these guys are really just selling caffeine. Like it's essentially like I did like a lot of deep dives into it, and I'm like, there's basically like three ingredients that you look for that are of a lot of value in a pre-workout. I mean, I'm sure that people watching this, if anyone did, they would say, oh, you know, what about this one and that one and this one and that one? But like I looked into it pretty, you know how I kind of YouTube research these things,
Yeah,
and like caffeine is the main shit. Beta alanine is the other thing, and it's called, oh gosh, chromium. Let me just look it up because I can't
that
remember. Is
sounds
what
familiar.
something like that? Chromil? Is it can't be chromium? Anyway, something like that that's in there that is also of some value. But the rest of the stuff and the rest of it is just marketing. And anyways, just to bring it all home,
It's for the
it's
buy.
like, yeah, I felt like at first I was like, oh, you know, I don't need to waste my money on pre-workout. I could just make all these things in a little cocktail and then add it to a Gatorade or something and whatever, and it'll be fine. It'll be the same. And at some point, I started to kind of like respect that the pre-workout guy. And also I watched that his episode of Hustle HQ, and so I was hearing him talk about it and how like he was like interested in it. I thought, man, this guy has built a pretty good business, and they found like they're delivering a product. They're assembling those ingredients for you, putting it in a package that makes you feel like the guy. Take that pre-workout and be like, I'm the fucking God of Rage right now. When you go to the gym, and it's like, I don't know, good for you, man.
The marketing knows how to type or tap into the psyche,
Yeah. I
So
enjoy the pre-workout, and I don't mind paying $45 for 18 servings or whatever because it feels like
gives
sort
you
of
what
worth
you
it.
need for the moment.
Right. I don't really enjoy it as much if I just build it myself. That's what I
Yeah.
found out. And like I think it's only because of marketing, but
I mean, hey,
also
like psychologically, they know what they're talking about. That's why it's proven to be true. That's why marketing's worked this long. As annoying as it is, they know what
yeah.
they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So
And don't
you
you
just got
feel
to
like when you
submit
get
yourself to it sometimes, even though you
right.
know all the tactics. You can't. It's
I think so.
in our human nature.
You get a new gym outfit and you're like and it's like
Oh, you're on top
it's
of the
like a
world. You have the
fancy
best
one.
workout that day. Like,
Oh, come on.
yeah, of
I'm the guy
course,
in the video. I'm
of
just like that guy right now. I
course.
look just like that guy. For sure. For sure, for sure. So, yeah, I think I don't know how we got onto this. But we were talking about some of these people that have exploited these TikTok loopholes. And
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
like a little bit more on the nose with that is like these people, I don't know if you get all this all the time. I see this all the time, like people selling um, products either on Temu or the TikTok shop or whatever. And they're like, they basically that's the type of ads that I get the most is like people basically like selling another product, like a cheap, essentially drop shipping. It is basically what that is. They're selling a product that they found on Temu. They get some kind of commission,
Hmm.
I presume, and the commission is worth more than what they spend in the advertising. And so this worked out for them, or seems to work out for them. But I am like, I have that inclination like you. I'm like, what a stupid bit. At first I'm like, this is such a stupid business. But then at the end of it, I'm like, man, good for them, because I bet you they probably spent, just like me and you, it ends up being a real job. They gotta do these videos, they gotta film them and do the math.
Yeah,
I bet
for
it's I
sure.
bet it's harder than, it seems like an easy loophole, but I bet it's a real
Yeah.
grind, and good for them for exploiting it. I'm not going to, because I don't want to
I won't
spend my
capitalize
time.
off of it, but I'll let
Right,
them
right.
do that.
And I just don't think that's, at the end of the day, I don't think that produces the most, frankly, revenue for me. I don't think going down that road, like those tactics. It's like when, it's like people joke about, like, oh, can you sell feet pics online or whatever, or something like that. It's like, yeah, I could.
Yeah, I
You could do that.
could.
You could do that, but if you ever look at like the numbers of that, it's like the reality of how much work you have to do to sell your feet pics
Yeah.
online. It's like you could just have a regular job and make more money and have way less stress than selling, and then not have to sell feet pics online. You know what I mean? And like,
And not
I
be
mean,
worried about your safety or
yeah,
who's
yeah, yeah,
gonna
yeah,
find
yeah,
you,
yeah,
who's
like
gonna
dealing with,
become obsessed with your feet.
or like, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe most people don't care, or some people don't care. But I mean, probably, you'd have to hide that from, your friends and family, maybe, or whatever. Like you would, instead of just like having a regular job and making, a regular income. It's just, it always seems like it's like easy, but the reality is, I think it's not easy at all. It's
Yeah, it's
probably
still
just as much
process,
hard
still
work. And
yeah.
hopefully these people will find a new, like, what this type of situation, even though it was only 7 hours of a TikTok ban, what this type of situation can do is create like a moment of winners and losers, and a moment of, like, I don't know, they say like
I
separate the men from the boys and
yeah.
things like that. Like, who
Like, I
will
think the
survive?
people who are gonna survive are the ones who realize that, "Okay, I've put all my eggs in one basket, and I have to now look elsewhere," who are taking this as a redirection rather than, "Oh, TikTok's back, I'm only staying on TikTok now."
Or
Like
at least make this the awareness that you cannot just build your audience on
yeah,
TikTok.
that
You
you
have
need to
to.
have if you rely on only social media, it cannot be one platform.
Right,
Like, the
unless
rug
you
just
want to
got
be a
pulled.
if you want to be a flash in the pan, okay, that's fine, and exploit something like that. But like these guys selling a microphone on TikTok, like, that
It's
you're
not
gonna
long
have to build
term.
that outside of just TikTok. You'll have
Yeah.
to like take some of that budget, put that over onto Meta. You'll have to, because what we're
Well,
talking about is top funnel awareness, like getting people to your site and getting people, to your product. And if you can do that anywhere, like, even if you're doing that on TikTok, but that's maybe
yeah.
the easiest one or the
TikTok is the
platform of the
easiest
day.
because it's the only one that it's not like it's like the only different algorithm, right? Like everywhere else, like and I was thinking
Yeah.
about this when TikTok was down, that I did not care. Like there are a lot of like creators and people that I like to follow on TikTok. Was I gonna go follow them on my Instagram once TikTok went down? Hell no. Why? Because my Instagram is for my personal use. It's for the people that I personally know. The people like I don't like following people on Instagram that I don't know. I don't really care about your life, to be honest. Like that's where my personal connections are. So I
Mhm.
wasn't gonna go follow a bunch of these creators on Instagram. I just wasn't gonna care about them anymore. There's different uses for different platforms. TikTok, they should like this was the correlation or not the correlation, but like the differences between is like the reels. Like the reels doesn't just like show up random people. Like it's somehow associated. Like my reels are basically all sports because I look up lacrosse stuff on Instagram and then basically all sports related or like just weird stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, this isn't anywhere how I use my Instagram. Why is this being shown to me? And I just don't think a lot of other, no one's proven to be able to have the same algorithm as TikTok is provided. That's what it, that's why it's been so successful. I don't think anyone's able to imitate that.
Do you think? Okay, so I have this theory about this, that I don't know if I've ever said this publicly. So this will be a fun
Okay.
conversation. And a little bit, it's just a theory. So maybe I'm wrong, but just take it with a grain of salt. About 4 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, there was this. I'm a big YouTube fan, always have been. Even before I was like into fitness stuff, I consumed YouTube for bonsai and gardening. I consumed
Mhm.
it for music videos, like all kinds of and just creators I like on there. So I've always been a big YouTube fan, and I remember there was a time where TikTok. I want to say it was like right after TikTok, until right after it became TikTok from Musically,
Mm.
and they invested a shitload of money into advertising on
I remember that.
YouTube.
Oh,
Um, it was and it was at that time I thought kind of rare for a social media platform to invest in advertising on another what is
yeah.
essentially a social media platform. That was I
Yeah, a
thought
competitor at that
yeah,
point.
to me it was kind of rare to see that, and I thought, boy, that's kind of new and something interesting. And so that was going on, and that was again like probably 4 or 5 years ago, and just
But
knowing
I do remember, I don't know if I remember them on YouTube, but I remember seeing at least the TikTok TV ads. They put a
so
lot of money into that.
there was a lot of money in advertising all over. So you're exactly right. Because at the time, um, I maybe made a blog about it, or maybe I did say something about this in a video or something. I can't remember, but a couple people mentioned that yeah, they had seen the ads on TV and that there had been ads somewhere else, maybe even on Facebook or something like that.
Mhm.
And so, anyways, I thought that was kind of an interesting note, and I kind of put it in my brain and moved on. And then I don't know, it was like probably 2, 3 years later, everyone's talking about TikTok is this like incredible algorithm and it just knows me so well. That's what, people would say. And so, and even you just essentially said, like, it knows like what to serve you that, it has this great algorithm that's different than the other platforms. And I guess so anyways, to bring it all home to what is my theory, it is that I suspect just knowing what we know about advertising, they dumped enough money into getting people to try TikTok, to getting people into the platform, that they were able to bring in enough data that the algorithm such that the algorithm was able to learn better than Instagram or Facebook, even though Instagram and Facebook had a ton of data. But my understanding is TikTok was investing this advertising across the world. And so, all that to say, I don't know that the algorithm is that much better, or I think more that it's
It has more
got
data.
it has more data, and I think a lot more data, because
Yeah.
again they invested into advertising, and and I know that when you run a digital advertisement, you can get traffic.
Yeah.
Like if you I mean you definitely can get traffic. And so if they're marketing to, like, for example, like lower income people between like under 45 at that time, on Meta on YouTube, you could get tens of thousands of people to try your platform that would play any game. They would go into any website, and these people just they click, 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 click. And so I think that they just collected so much data at that time that now that's why the algorithm is so so great. But it's really just that it just
I
knows
mean,
us
you can
better because it's
also,
collected.
I mean, like, at least here in the past like 6 months or so, I can kind of like, not like read the algorithm, but what I think the algorithm has changed here recently. Like, now, if there's like one video that I watch about horses, that was just a random one about horses. Okay. And I'm a comment reader till I die. Like, I won't watch the video the whole way through before I open the comments. Okay. I'm in the comments immediately. So I'll like read through the comments. I'll probably usually like more comments than actually liking the video. The next video I go to, the first word of the video is horse. Skip past it immediately because I'm like, okay, because I was just watching horse video, so the next video, horse. But it's like not actually like the same content. It just like somehow correlated to a horse. So I skip it really fast. Goes to the same video, not the same, but almost a direct copy of what the first one that I watched and spent time in the comments on, maybe sent to someone. But if I skip past the horse ones really fast, then it won't give me any more. But if I spend time sitting on any of those first three options that are like horse related, then my feed will be horses all fucking day. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on here. And
I've let a
so it
couple
just
fly, so it's
annoys
okay.
me. Like I can like you can like interpret the algorithm sometimes, and but what I like about TikTok in comparison to like Instagram is that it has the For You page, your following, and then your friends. So if I want to see my friends' stuff on TikTok, I'm just going to go to my friends. If I want to see the people that I follow, I'm just going to go to following. But if I just want to see random people's stuff, I'm going to go to the For You page, right? Like I guess Instagram does have Explore, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah, and I don't know if if anything's changed or updated since it's come back. To be honest, like I said earlier, I don't use it. I use them all. I try to keep my
Equally.
toe in all of them. Yeah, right, exactly. So
I try.
I have kind of a practice of going on, which I do not recommend because it's easy to get kind of sucked in. But I have a practice of trying to go on to all of the platforms every day. So like LinkedIn for me is kind of a struggle. I don't enjoy
Yeah,
that
LinkedIn's
platform, but
hard.
I try to get in there and I try to clear my notifications and message anyone that is
I'm a LinkedIn hater.
I hate it too, but it's the reality is like there's an audience there, and
Yeah.
I think that's what we can expect in social media in the future is these niche platforms. Like for
Yeah,
me,
I
like
agree.
Snapchat, the daily usage on Snapchat has
Yeah.
been consistent for years and years and years and years. And I mean, I don't think that platform. I think at this time that platform's got a place. It maybe isn't going to
It
ever
does.
surpass any. I don't see it as surpassing any, but I think that they have. I think that they've built and carved like this little niche. And I think LinkedIn, every time I log in there, I think, oh, LinkedIn's dead or I'm getting tired
No,
of this.
it's
I
not.
don't like
Yeah,
it.
certainly
It's
not.
never
I hate
dead.
it, but it's never dead.
There's tons of people there. And there are moments where I like it, and there's moments where I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. But the problem is like again, we're talking about like carving out these niches, like there's like etiquette on every platform
Yeah,
and
yeah.
learning and understanding the etiquette of each platform is kind of different. So like, I don't know, like my favorite example of this is like on Snapchat, um, you could send a picture every day or whatever, a picture of yourself every day. But on Instagram, if you sent me a chat, like it would be unusual
Yeah,
to get like a
yeah.
picture message on chat in Instagram chat. And similarly, like, you know, um, well, I just think in general, like, you wouldn't post on Facebook the way you post on X,
Mm-mm.
or Threads, So
I
I
mean,
think
you
that they're,
used to, but not anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Originally, Facebook was the original Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and Twitter is really, I mean, it seems clear. I don't know how much do you use Twitter or X or whatever.
I used to. I used to love it. And now I only use it to just go look at my old retweets and give myself
Brilliant.
a good laugh, and then I close it right back up.
That's awesome. I use it like I was just saying. I try to like log in and like take a look at it, and I try to like practice it just because I do sort of consider it my job to like understand the platforms. Because people still ask me about X all the time, and I've
Mm-hmm.
been saying like with Elon, being part of and Trump being an X fan, and all of just kind of this new kind of political movement. I think there's gonna be a lot of people on X, and
Yeah.
the usage on X is gonna. I know that they're kind of having some ups and downs as a platform lately, but to me, like it's inevitable that people are going to be on there, and
Yeah.
so it makes a lot of sense for people to
It's
start kind
not
of
dead yet.
considering it. Yeah,
I mean, I
definitely
guess
not
it never
dead.
really died. Like I know
Right.
for a fact that like high school football, they use that like really big for high school football, and like I've come to learn that it's still pretty alive and well for high school athletes. Not lacrosse at least, but for football.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that still use the platform every day, and again, I just think it's inevitable that there's going to continue to be a lot of people, and with the current state of politics and everything, it just makes sense. And each platform, I think, they have their own kind of niche, their own etiquette, their own way of going about the platform, and you do have to kind of know that. Reddit is obviously famous for that. All of them are. All of them have their own stuff, and
Yeah.
It's really easy to
True.
go into any with the wrong idea. I think it's worth it to create an account if you're a business to create an account on every platform, but I don't know if it's worth it to necessarily go in and I like to repurpose content, but I still think you gotta still know the platform, know where to repurpose it,
Yeah.
and how to
Where it
repurpose it.
fits. Does it fit correctly? Yeah.
Right? Is it
Agreed.
YouTube short or a
Yeah.
or a traditional YouTube video? Well, guess what, Bailey? I think we got some work to do. We got to get some work done. It's already been 30 minutes, so we did 30 minutes
We did
today.
good.
Our longest morning meeting, non-revenue producing activities. Time to get into some actual work. So. Well, if anyone joined in, I don't. Did we get any comments today? No comments. All right,
No
that's all right. Well,
comments.
good. Thank goodness. We are practicing with an audience of none.
I saw one. I saw one at one point. One
Oh,
little up in
okay.
the eye.
All right.
I tried to
Right
see
on.
which from where, but I didn't get
Right
there
on.
in time.
Taking over the world. All right, everyone. Bye, everyone. I hope you enjoy.
See ya.